Okay, where am I? Here I am. You made it for this one. Okay, well, we need to solve a problem here that's been going on for too long. You'd think that people would be smart enough to, after the indictment that just went out on John Paul Miller, that they would start to do the right thing, but we're going to nip this in the bud today. So, there seems to be harassment and bullying going on. Yes, I am back. Told you I would be. There seems to be still harassment and bullying going on the TikTok world, which, in my opinion, is a platform of human garbage in some senses. There are a lot of good people on there, but they're in between massive amounts of very wicked people. And this is all thanks to John Paul Miller. So I'm going to start from the beginning and bring you to date. In the very beginning, there was a group of women from the Mica Miller case that was on the side of John Paul Miller. They had formed a private group that Agatha May was able to infiltrate. Thank you, Agatha May. They had a private group on Facebook where they were giving a platform to an abuser, John Paul Miller, to say his side of the story. And they also had their own little group on TikTok. Now, this group consisted of True Crime Marie, Misty Gypsy, Anita Hunt, and some others that I don't recall their names. You probably know their names, but these are the top three. Now, one of them, named Misty Gypsy, has allegedly pulled herself away from this group of women, which I do not believe, and said that she only did what she did so that she was able to get a story out of John Paul Miller. But there's been video after video after video after video of the opposite of that. Now, no matter what her intentions were in regards to John Paul Miller, there from her and her group of people, there has been a consistent form of harassment, either directly from her or from her cohorts, against people who are truly justice for Mica. And another one has joined her group, which you all know as Danielle. Now, in the recent times, let's fast forward to August and September of 2025. They had made friends with Tamra, Chris Skinner's sister. This was Misty and her group, which now also includes a woman by the name of Evidence Room. And I'm trying to think of the other women because I don't pay attention to these women. This is why I don't know their names very well. And this is the same group of women who took on Callie from a former employee of Fitz News, who is no longer employed with Fitz News, and because of her own doing, not for anybody else's, nobody else did this to her. But this group of women chose to blame Tamra and other people for this happening to her. This was part of their harassment. And both me and Tamra had gone through absolute hell for a month. And that ended with, once again, bringing up my husband's body being all over TikTok and my marriage reconciliation also on TikTok. Now, that was taken down. I had made peace by saying that I forgave them and gave mercy and grace. But the harassment has not stopped. Now, on this podcast that Misty has, she has opened up many times in one particular video about her past, like I have done with my own. And I think that that's admirable when somebody does that. But when somebody else repeats it and you go after them for it, that makes no sense. Okay. So other people have replayed this portion of her podcast where she talks about a former, I guess it's a marriage or something along the lines. I'm not really sure what the story is. And nothing has ever happened to them. However, anybody that's associated with me seems to get punished. And one of those people was Veronica Jokestar, that you know Veronica as Veronica Jokestar or Veronica Adams. She did the same, covering the same story that had been put out there by Misty. Veronica did not go and dig and dig and dig like these women have done to me and have done to many other people, where they would dig in our past to go and bring up something to try to assassinate our character. All Veronica did was report on and repeat what Misty herself put out there in public. Misty, of course, turned around and took that video down, not realizing other people have copies of it, but I digress. Because Veronica did this, and because Veronica is associated with me, Misty has weaponized the Alabama law enforcement by charging Veronica with harassment. Now, when you report on something that's already been put out there, that's not a form of harassment. You're just reporting on something that's already been put out there. If you didn't want it being put out there, then you shouldn't have put it out there. Stands to reason. Veronica has had to go and turn herself in and bond out because of this. Now, unfortunately, this was around in the same day that John Paul Miller was indicted. And so now we have the likes of Danielle, who's all over TikTok, making all these different videos, trying to say that there is a connection between Veronica Adams having to turn herself in and John Paul Miller being indicted for abusing and possibly having something to do with the death of his wife back in April of 2024. Okay? Mind you, Veronica Adams has done nothing but justice for Mica and justice for Chris Skinner. That's all she's ever done. She's never hung out with women who talked badly about Mica, Chris, which these women have. She's never talked badly about their families, which these women have done. She's never made material on dug up information from people's pasts to harass or bully them like these women have done. She has not texted them and messaged them and emailed them and had other people go and infiltrate groups where they were in and use voice messages against them just to create material to bully them like these women have. And now Danielle has joined their ranks. So let me tell you where this stands. I've been taking notes of what's been going on, and I have personally reported every single one of these videos and charges, false charges and accusations and infiltrations and videos and posts from every one of these women, and have given it to the federal authorities. It's been given to the federal authorities. This has been reported. And in light of what's happened to John Paul Miller, this is my advice, because we all know you're listening. I would take your posts down and stop. Because if you don't, you're going to join John Paul Miller. Okay? Because I just went over 2 stories of 2 TikTok content creators who took their own lives after being cyberbullied on TikTok. And there's pending charges on the people who caused these 2 to feel so hopeless that they had to take their own lives. Now, I'm not saying Veronica is in that state of mind, but cyberbullying and cyber stalking, which is what you've all have done, is still a crime. It's a federal crime. You know why? Because you're doing it over state lines. And you're doing it over state lines because it's on the internet. So I am telling you now, this is your warning. This is your time to dust your feet off, delete what you've put up, and move on to true crime. Because if you don't, from this point on, you're going to pay a heavy price, not just with your internet reputation, but with your very own freedom. I hope this comes out clear, because this is a warning shot. This is a warning shot. And if you think I'm the only one who's been saving up evidence against you, you are sorely mistaken. And if you think this indictment on John Paul Miller, this timing, is a coincidence, once again, you're mistaken. It has nothing to do with Veronica, but it has much to do with you. Because they know about what you've been doing. They knew about it back in August and September. They know about it now. They know about what you were doing in your private groups way back in 2024. They know all about it. They've been watching you. I've been telling you guys this from the very beginning. Every post, every live, every single conversation, every private message is being seen by the authorities, the federal authorities. And by the way, the US has control over TikTok. So that means that the feds have control over what's going on TikTok. So you've been warned. You could do it on Facebook, you could do it on any platform you want, but you will be found out. You've already been found out. So I suggest you back up, take everything off of the internet that you've put up against other people, character assassinating and bullying, harassing, stalking, causing any kind of drama or upset to other people, and just do what you were supposed to do, which was true crime. If you have any connection to John Paul Miller, if you've been paid by John Paul Miller, you especially should be quiet, because you'll be the next one to be indicted. I promise you that. So there's your warning shot. There's your warning shot. I don't know what else to tell you. If from this point on you decide to keep making these ridiculous posts, you're on your own. But you can't say you weren't warned. God sees all. That's right, kindness. God sees all. Yeah. You thought I was going to sleep, McLovin? Yeah, right. And every time, dude, every time I say, I got to stop saying it out loud. I'm going to go lay down and take a rest. Something new happens. So I'm going to stop saying it out loud. I'll just say it in my head. No, this has to be done. Everything on the internet, and this is absolutely true. Here we go. The internet is forever. You can delete stuff off of your internet and off of your account and think that it's gone. It doesn't take much for the federal authorities to subpoena that platform to dig up what you put up on your page, on your account. It doesn't take much. So deleting means absolutely nothing. All you're deleting is you're deleting it from you seeing it and from your audience seeing it. But you're not deleting it from the authorities seeing it. And every time you've deleted something means absolutely nothing, because I've already gotten the link to it. And I already got a copy of the actual video. So the material has already been recorded. It's in evidence, as I said. So it's a done deal. You just have to stop. And the fact that Danielle has incorporated herself into this stupidity, she herself could get in a lot of trouble, because this is cyberbullying. There is no connection between Veronica Adams having to turn herself in on a false accusation, and John Paul Miller being indicted for cyber stalking and harassing and bullying his wife, which ended up and resulted in death and as a federal investigation. One has nothing to do with the other. So by her posting videos like that is flat out harassment. And it's false information. So if you are on TikTok, people in my audience, and you see this, I think you need to remind Danielle of that and report it, because that's harassment. Yeah, Veronica is innocent. Veronica did not do anything wrong. Again, if this was something that Veronica went and dug up, and let me tell you something, guys, the press does this all the time. They dig up things on people that they're doing a story on. But let's just say that there was a personal vendetta between the two girls. And Veronica went and dug up this information and used it against Misty. Yes, that would be considered bullying. But Veronica didn't do that. As I said, 2 other people have posted the very same video. It's up on TikTok. And Misty said nothing to her. Because they have an axe to grind with me, which I have no idea what it is and why and who cares. Anybody that's associated with me is a target. Now, they have nothing on me because I don't report on anything like that. I don't give a crap about what you did in your past. Veronica brought this up because these women have been relentless in their attacks on people, including members of the families of victims that we're fighting for. We're actually fighting for these families, and these families have been under attack. Tamara being one of them. This is why Tamara felt forced to have to take away all of the truth drips and to wipe her own digital footprint off of the internet, which pissed me off because this wasn't about them. This was about Chris, and he deserved justice. And they obstructed his justice at that moment online because of their bullying, because of their harassment. I'll give you one snippet of their harassment. They tried to blame the Skinner family for Chris's death. Meanwhile, he's married and living with a woman who was wishing him dead while having an affair with their pastor. Okay? Susie, she was more concerned about getting Chris out of the way so she could fulfill her relationship with a married pastor whose wife ended up dead 2 years later. Okay? Same woman is a licensed physical therapist. Same woman was more concerned about how much money she was going to get from Chris's death. But no, she doesn't get blamed for Chris's death. We're going to blame the family who was there on a regular basis to take care of Chris, to cook for Chris, clean Chris, do his laundry. They would leave their own homes to care for him. Why? Because his wife wasn't doing it. But you got a group of bullies on TikTok blaming this poor family. Now, on the very week of his anniversary of his death, I asked them nicely, please don't mention any of this stuff this week. Let this family, where the parents are very sick, and I know you guys remember me saying this, please let them have this week in peace. Almost immediately, they were doing lives and attacking this family. And that is including Misty and Callie. They could sit there and go, I didn't say anything. I was just on the panel. You're guilty by association. You're guilty by association. You could have left it alone and just been quiet. No, you couldn't leave it alone. Less than 24 hours later, you were doing a live on TikTok bashing this family. And because I came out and said that that was unacceptable, you went after me. Evidence Room herself has admitted on her own lives that she infiltrates my group with people. Just so she could hear what's being said in my group, my own personal group on Facebook. A group of women who get together just to put together evidence for the justice of Chris and Mica. And yeah, once in a while, because we're a group of women, we'll talk about personal things that are going on in our own lives. So what information is she looking to get? And this is what they do. They dig and they spy. Another example, Johnette. I'm going to put it out there, people. If you can't handle it, take an aspirin. I'm in a group that I'm invited into to donate to somebody who was going through a very hard time and needed to get into an apartment. And I donate the money. I go into that group and I think that I'm safe. And because my hands, can't type very well sometimes because they hurt, I do a lot of voice messaging. Any of you that ever talk to me on Facebook know that's true. And so I would put voice snippets on there here and there, just, being part of the conversation. And during the time where me and Tamara were being relentlessly and daily attacked by these women, this woman, Johnette, who I've never met, never spoken to my entire life, took my voice clip and gave it to these women so to fuel and perpetuate this drama. Not publicly, but privately, when I called her out and called her a snake for doing that. These women went on a crusade to call me a bad Christian and a bad person because I called her a snake. Not bringing up the fact on why. Not finding it sneaky and disgusting to go and take somebody's voice message without their approval, without their permission or knowledge, and give it to a group of women who've been relentlessly attacking me and the member of a family of a person who's been killed and that we're trying to find justice for. And she goes and helps them by giving them this material so to use against me in a relentless attack. No, that's okay. And why? Because I didn't sit there and boo-hoo and put on a false act of being a victim and a piece of glass like she did? So what did they do? They used it against me. And that was their justification for putting a 19-year-old picture of my husband on TikTok and mock our reconciliation of our marriage from 10 years ago. That's their justification. I didn't put that information out there. They went digging for it. Veronica didn't report on anything that had to be dug. Misty put it out there. But now the feds know. Now the feds know. And guess what? The feds are watching right now. Because they're tagged to this video. They know your names. And they know what you've been up to. And you're done. You're done. So pack it up. Pack it up. And sit down. Shut up. Or do your job and fight for true crime, if that's really why you're here. But if you've been sent out by John Paul Miller as a flying monkey, I suggest you pack it up and go home because you're already in trouble. Just sit and wait until they knock at your door because they will. I'll make sure of it. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you for that. Yes, Veronica, you have so many people behind you. That is absolutely true. And we all know that you have not harassed anybody. The same thing goes for you, Tamara. We still fight for the justice for Chris. No matter what happened on that day, we want the truth to come out. And that goes for Mica, too. And no longer are we going to tolerate, and I mean it, people, when you see it on TikTok or any other platform of these women doing any kind of character assassination, bullying, or just targeting a person, don't be complicit because then you become part of the problem. Speak up, speak out, expose, and report. Do not allow these women to get away with any more because they're not helping justice for any of these people by doing what they're doing. Not at all. They're doing exactly what John Paul Miller wants, to be obstructions, to cause confusion and chaos amongst the very people who are working together to get justice for these people. And this has got to stop. It stops now. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention. You want to take snippets of this show and play it on TikTok, you have my permission. But it ends now. It ends now. And let me put out another warning. Don't even think of trying to pull that warrant charges harassment crap on me because see, here's the thing. I've already reported you to the authorities. That's only going to look like retaliation, and that's really going to fall apart quickly for you. You know who you are. I'm talking to you. So don't even think about it. This is one target you're not going to even want to try to aim towards. I'm telling you. It won't work for you. Immediately, you will see consequences that will just make you sorry you ever got involved. That's an absolute warning. So, I absolutely believe, yeah. Today's is only the beginning and Chris's day is coming. Amen to that. Yep. It is abuse of power to bully. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, kindness, you can. Now, I don't know what platforms you're on. If you're only on YouTube, then, I wouldn't really worry because it really doesn't make its way, onto YouTube. And why? Because YouTube has less tolerance for this. And they know that. That's why they don't. There is a place where you can donate for Veronica. I'm going to need that information from her, and I will be able to share that with you guys. Veronica, can you put up your Cash App so that I can share that with everybody here? Because she is going to need to keep this attorney retained for good reason. And so thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you, Lady Trey. Thank you. That would be awesome, really, getting the word out. Yes. It's very important because, like I said, I shared with you that very, very sad story about that Rizzy girl yesterday, which another content creator named Tree was very kind to share. And it was a very sad story. This girl took her life right there on a TikTok live. I mean, I actually saw it, and it was heartbreaking. And please pray for her family. Let's not forget. And then there was another gentleman who also did the same within the past couple of weeks. We got to pray for their family too. So this is Veronica's Cash App username. And I'm putting it up there for people who watch it after the show has aired. Please, if you wouldn't mind, she ended up losing her job because of all of this. I'm really trying to push her to do a countersuit, so that all the evidence comes out in a court case. It's completely up to her. She's the one that's got to go through it. To do that, though, she's got to keep this attorney retained. So this would help. Again, this is Veronica's Cash App username to where you would donate. Please, if you can, it would be wonderful if you would donate and help. And please spread the word. Glad to see you too, Gina. It would be really good to get the message out to all the other bullies and all the other people who feel the need to harass others online, that this is now the time to stop doing that, because there is now accountability for these types of behavior online. You will not get away with it. And that we're all standing together against it. And so that's a good thing. So again, this is Veronica's Cash App username, if you wouldn't mind. She has to also travel, as she said, 2 hours to be able to get to court. So it is costing her quite a bit. The loss of her job, and having to travel 2 hours. And on top of that, now you've got Danielle posting, videos on TikTok, and I can even show it to you if you want to see it, of incorporating Veronica with John Paul Miller's indictment, which is false information. Totally false. And very unfair to Veronica, because she has nothing to do with John Paul Miller harassing and bullying and tracking his wife to the point of death. Yes, and anyone who has witnessed bullying or has been bullied, please come forward. Okay, you've got a group of people associated with me who will defend you and protect you, passionately. Okay. Um, please show what? Please show what, Allie? What do you want me to show? What is it that you want me to show, hon? There's something that she wants me to show. I've got it up. If you're asking for the Cash App thing, it's up on the screen. Do you guys see it? It says money sign star 82435. Do you guys see that? Give me a 1 if you can see it. Oh, show the video? The video. Oh, kitty. Okie dokie. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. Give me a second. Let me get it. Let me get it. We do have it here in the truth group. Let me see. I did save it. So let me play this one first, because there's 2 of them. Let me get the original. Oh. Oh, all right. Gee whiz. Too many tabs for Anne. Let's see. See what I mean? Hold on. Let me get the original video, which started all of this. All right. Here we go. All right. So, all right. The first video that really started all of this that Danielle had done is this one. Let me play that for you now. Okay, that's playing over and over. So that's the first one. And the second one is this one.
December 17th, 2025, John Paul Miller was indicted by the FBI for cyber stalking, harassment, and lying in an investigation. I don't think it's any coincidence that a content creator was also arrested yesterday for harassment.
Okay, so FBI, I know that you're listening, and President Trump, you as well. Thank you for doing that. I would ask you to please get TikTok to remove these videos from Danielle. I would prefer you to remove Danielle altogether. Also remove the people that are involved in this. But if all you can do is remove the videos, please remove the videos, and please keep this in mind, because I'm hoping that Veronica will do a countersuit and this will be used as evidence. But yeah, this is the problem. And I was just told, I just saw in a message that Steph Case Files is holding of course, a live about the indictment that happened this morning, or that we were reporting on this morning. And people in the chat are trying to push her to incorporate Veronica. I pray that Steph doesn't do that, because she has a reputable channel, and I'd like it to stay that way for her. So you can see the bullies are really trying to push this. So yeah, this is how this. Let me tell you something. If we don't fight against this right now, this can happen to any one of us. This is cyberbullying. First of all, what Danielle just said is false information. It's not true. There is no connection whatsoever, legally, personally, or otherwise, between Veronica and John Paul Miller, or this warrant and his indictment. There's no connection. There isn't even a coincidence to it. It was a weaponized use of law enforcement against a content creator who's been fighting for justice for Mica. We've already seen weaponization of the legal system against people fighting for justice of Mica at the beginning of this year, when John Paul Miller went and tried to sue 10 people because they were all fighting for justice for Mica. So this is just another version of that. I'm just looking at the chat, everybody. Forgive me. No, they never did care about the victims, as they are doing exactly what the guilty parties did to Mica. It's pure evil, and God will expose. And that's what he's doing right now. That's what he's doing right now. I'm very surprised that this is even happening in light of what's happened to John Paul Miller. You would think that they would realize that if the feds can go after him, they can go after them. But okay, stupid is what stupid does. So, what are you going to do? That's why I came on today, because of these videos. And so I urge you guys that if you happen to be on TikTok and you see this, do not be complicit. Say something, expose it, report it. And if when you report it, what are you reporting it for? It's for harassment and bullying. And please do that. It's very important that that happens. For anyone who is not on TikTok and you're like, well, how can I help? This is Veronica that I have up on the screen. This is Veronica's Cash App username. Please take it down, meaning write it down. And if you can, please donate to it so that she can keep the attorney that she has right now retained. As I said, I am trying to push her, or encourage her rather, to countersue. And why is that important? The countersuit would force all of what we're talking about to come out in court as evidence. All of it. All the people involved, all the harassment, everything. And that would be a great help. So, is that what happened, Tamara? Is that sarcastic, or is that a good thing? Did Matthew do a good thing? The charges were harassment, Pretty in Pink. So was Matthew being helpful, or was he working against Veronica by leaking the warrant ahead of time? And I'm sorry if I'm doing little bits of silence here. I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, countersuit is important, I believe. Okay, so thank Matthew and every one of them who leaks stuff, because evildoers can't keep things quiet. It's sarcasm. So Matthew is working for the other side. Is that what you're saying, Tamara? Did he leak out this warrant so that it would be used against Veronica? He and the group leaked it. No working against. Okay. So Tamara's being sarcastic. You would think somebody from Long Island would be able to grasp sarcasm quickly, but obviously I'm not able to do that today. I'm on 3 cups of coffee, people. I don't know what my problem is. So, okay. So here you are. Here is I really did not want to talk about any of this stuff. Matthew did join the ranks of the other side a while back, kindness. And it's sad because I really liked Matthew. But he too stood up for Johnette and felt it was okay for her to use my voice message against me to help fuel and perpetuate the attacks that they had against me and Tamara at that time. He was more angry with me calling Johnette out for it rather than what she did. So there you go. But anyway, as I said, if you see any of this going on TikTok, please report it. Please expose it. If you are not on TikTok and you're a smart person for not being on there, right here on the screen, you see Veronica's Cash App. So that's the platform that you go to, Cash App. And if you can, please donate to $82435 and help Veronica be able to keep retainment of the attorney that she has right now. Anyway, so that's what we have so far. God only knows, I'll probably be back soon with some sort of information or something going on with these crazy people. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for supporting Veronica. Thank you for being a support to me. Thank you for being a support to Tamara. Thank you for being a support to Justice for Mica and Justice for Chris and all the victims of the Millers and the Millers Flying Monkeys. Anytime, Lady Trey, anytime. I'm all for standing up for truth and justice, no matter who it is and what it is. And that's the truth. If I had seen any of these women, that's including Misty, really, if somebody was relentlessly attacking her and she didn't deserve it, she did nothing to deserve it, I'd stand up for her. If it wasn't right, I would stand up against it. So it's not although Veronica is a longtime friend of mine, we've worked together quite a bit in the Mica Miller case, and I know what kind of person she is. She's not a harasser by any means. This is a woman who barely has enough time to even do the work that she does. Anytime she puts out a video, she's literally doing that in the middle of working. I don't know if anybody realizes that. So she juggles a family, a home, working, and justice. And so this is not a person who, it's not even in her character to harass, and she's never been known to harass or bully anybody throughout this entire movement. So for anybody to even believe that she would do this now, you've had to been sniffing some serious glue. But anyway, good point. They are trying anything to fracture a movement towards justice. Exposing the truth publicly is not harassment. Veronica will not be silenced, and neither will we. Very good, Who. I am in total agreement. Yes, McLovin. Yeah. And that was way back in September. He kicked me to the curb as a friend because I stood up to Johnette for using my voice message against me. I'm sorry, I don't do things like that. I don't use people's words or voice messages, especially if I see somebody else attacking them. I don't go to that attacker and say, here's more fuel. Here's more of a reason for you to keep attacking this innocent person. But that's what she did. And I was brutally attacked for saying something about it. And I didn't even say publicly anything. I said it in private, and it was still used against me. But okay, we are where we are right now. No, there's going to be no more tolerance for this. And as I said, the feds are listening to this video, and it's already been reported to the authorities, all of this, including what's happening right now on TikTok. Anyhow, thank you guys for joining me. Please keep an eye out for this kind of activity. Please report it. Please expose it. And please support Veronica, if you will. Thank you for being here. I will be back soon, I'm sure. And I'm rolling my eyes as I'm saying that. But until I see you guys again, please stay safe. And God bless.